Good morning. So today we're going to talk about inputting all of our content into our Google form as well as branching the form so that depending on the student's response, it sends them to a different section. So the first thing that you want to make sure is that you have everything organized. So you can see I split my screen horizontally this time and I have my curriculum right here. The second thing that you'll want to make sure is that all of your sections are matching up between your planning template and your Google form. So I have section 2 here, and I can see section 2 is adding whole numbers. Section 3 is the well done section. And section 4 needs to be my supplemental resources. So that looks like I'm good to go. I'll want to do that for each part of my Google form. So starting with the adding whole numbers or whatever is your first topic, I'm actually just going to copy and paste my learning target from my planning template. You can type it in if you want. I just find that easier. So I'm going to utilize this adding question button. You can see that I've hovered over it, and so it tells me what that tool is, and I'm going to add my question there. And I'm going to take a look at what number 12 is on page 7 because that's what I've planned for this particular form. So I want students to find the value of the expression. Now, since this is a math problem, sometimes I could just add the problem in with plain text right here. You could also use many Google add-ons. I prefer this LaTeX writer, and you can actually Google it, and it's the first one that comes up. And I just prefer to have the same structure the whole way through the math assessment. Okay, so I'm just going to type in my problem into my LaTeX writer, and I can change the font size. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click here to download, and then it'll pop up down here for me. And this goes for any type of question that you want to insert an image for. So if I hover over the question, I'm going to get an image icon. That's different from this image icon. This one on the right is actually going to build another section, or another question to the section, but I just want the image actually embedded into the question. So I'm going to drag and drop this image here, and you can see it shows up right on the bottom. So here I'm going to select multiple choice because that's the way that we are going to be able to branch this Google form. If I give students the option to have a short answer, then they can only go to the next section. It's not actually going to branch based off of their student response. So for all of my answers, I am going to input some answers that they may have gotten if they subtracted or if they didn't carry the 1. I'm going to give a variety based on what I believe students may do if they are going to complete this problem. Sometimes if you just give a random answer for a math problem, then they're automatically going to think that's incorrect and choose something else. So I have a series of answers here that I'm going to input. And you could always add as many or few as you want. And my correct answer is 3,091. So I'm going to leave those options here. I'm going to require the question, and then I'm going to choose these 3 vertical dots, and it's going to suggest that I can go to a section based on my answer. So this first option is incorrect. So I want it to send students to the Let's Practice section, which is section 4. This second option is the correct answer, so I wanted to send them to the Well Done page. This third option is incorrect, so again, I want that to send them to the page where they're going to need to practice and watch a video and then answer another supplemental question. Okay, so hopefully you've had some time to work on sections 2, 5, 8, and 11, and you were able to branch each of those answers to the appropriate section in your Google form. So I'm going to focus on my Let's Practice slides, adding in that supplemental content to help students if they got an incorrect answer. So I'm going to copy and paste my learning targets so students know what they're trying to achieve. And I'm going to actually add a video, and this is where you could either add an image, a screenshot, any type of other media that you want. And with a video, you could either insert a URL or search it. So the nice thing is it pops up pretty much exactly if you type in whatever you're searching for. So I'm going to input that video, and you could always align it in the center, right or left, whatever you feel is good for your students. And then after this, you can add in whatever images you want here. So I could add in a screenshot from my textbook, and then you would add in a supplemental question. So this question is going to be asking the exact same thing of students as my first question did, which was find the value of the expression. Now, obviously, I want a new expression because I'm trying to see if they can take what they've learned and apply it in a new setting. So I'm going to go back to my LaTeX writer here, which I can just Google or bookmark. And I have told myself on my planning document that I'm going to take a look at number 13 on page 7. And I'm going to look at my curriculum, type in my math problem, and do the same thing I did by downloading it and then inserting my image into my Google form. So I have my image inserted now, and I want to go back to this being a multiple choice question. So here I can actually add my correct answer, my incorrect answer options. And here you can have as many or as few as you want. The one thing for branching forms I wouldn't recommend is to add an other option, because that will also need a destination to go. So I'm going to click Go to Section Based on Answer and make sure I require the question. The first option was my correct answer. So I want that to send my students to the Well Done section. My next two, I just wanted to send them back to this page. You could always create a separate section that's going to give them extra feedback, or say check in with Mrs. Osborne. You could always branch to another section, but I'm just going to have this one send them right back because that reminds them that they need to continue practicing. So finishing up branching this form, I'm all done with those options now. So here you can continue working on the remaining sections, which are 7, 10, and 13. So last but not least, you will want to make sure that you have the correct destination for each section. So the main sections that I need to focus on are my well done sections. So this is 3, 6, 9, and 12. So section 3, it automatically sends them to the next section if they get to the well done page. But the students who receive feedback based on a correct answer for adding whole numbers, I don't need to send them to the Let's Practice page. I just need to send them to subtracting whole numbers. So section 3 should go to section 5. Section 6 should go to section 8. Section 9 should go to section 11. And section 12 needs to go to our last and final section. So I'm going to scroll down, and our last and final section is actually going to be section 14. So this one should say, fantastic job. You have completed the form successfully. Thank you for working hard. So this is what that final section should say. You can make this unique to your classroom or to your personality. This is just the final landing section when every student is all done with the form, regardless of whatever path they took. So this is the section that you want section 12 to branch to. And at the end of the Google form, this will allow students to submit, and you're all done.